One of the main topics during the July session of the European Parliament in Strasbourg was, besides of course Greece, TTIP. TTIP, that's the trade agreement between the United States of America and the European Union. I asked one of the parliamentarians deeply involved in the whole thing, which has amendments, unbelievable number of amendments to be voted upon later today, Wednesday, how she feels when it comes to the normal citizen and his or hers needs for knowledge, needs for improvement in his or her life due to the TTIP.
So TTIP will have a heavy impact for citizens. Concerning our concern are about environmental, but also for health and safety. You know, we have two different legislation in Europe and the United States. And what TTIP wants is to harmonize these two different systems. And it is very difficult because we have two approaches which are completely opposite.
Two cultures are clashing.
Yeah. We have the precautionary principle in Europe who impose, for that a company has to prove that everything in the product, also in the production process, is not bad for health and for safety and for the environmental too. In the United States, we have a different approach, which is called science-based approach, but instead is that a company can sell and can put on the market whatever he wants. Then the consumer have to prove that he has been damaged from this product or the production process, the ingredient and so on his own. It is completely opposite, you know. So we have really difficult to imagine how we can harmonize these two systems which are completely different, because these two approach has given that in Europe we can have GMOs without a one-by-one approbation. We can have a lot of chemical substance. We have a REACH system who control more than 100 substances, very strictly controlled. In the United States, it is completely different. We have Food and Drug Administration for sure. We have TSG. This is another system, but we know if we compare, we have 6 substances which are strictly controlled in the United States towards 143,000 in the Union European. So it means that a company can manufacture something with chemical products in the United States, and now absolutely can't put on the market in the European Union. He has to produce something different. With TTIP, they can do the same thing. And so our question is, where will the precaution principle go?
So far, so good. One question more I asked about the animal welfare. It's mentioned in the TTIP papers, but not defined. Could you?
So, first of all, we have to make clear that the TTIP papers that we are talking about is our suggestion to the Commission. Actually, Commission can go further with the negotiations also without taking into account our proposition.
But you will come back?
Yeah, it will come back. We make suggestions. We have defined some things, not so clearly, there are not red lines so properly defined.
And they are among animal welfare.
And this is for animal welfare for sure. But you know, also before TTIP, in the European Union, we are discussing about a lot of matter about, for example, cloning foods and cloning animals for food purpose.
But that goes more on the health situation, actually. But how the animals are treated That's my concern.
Yes. This is my concern. I'm a strong animalist in my country, and we are working a lot for example, for stop vivisection. And this is a campaign that is really sensitive for us as in my party and I can say in my country.
But that's not mentioned.
That's not mentioned. This is too far from company interests.
I'll come back to that.
TTIP is for company. It is not for citizens.
But final question, couldn't we avoid a lot of uncertainty among consumers when we had a proper labeling?
This is another problem. We have two problems to consider. First of all is the situation we have now in Europe. The south of Europe is in a big crisis, in a very, very bad situation. People could maybe pay attention to the label if they can sustain the cost. What I mean? When you have in the supermarket two products, the one costs maybe 1/3 less the other one, and you can't arrive to the end of the month with your salary, you can't pay attention on the label. You have to pay attention on your budget. And this is what we fear a lot, because if we receive a lot of products from United States, which have less obligation to complain, which has different legislation on work, for example, on taxation, they simply have big companies who can produce with less cost. For sure they have products which cost less. And this will also damage our internal demand, which also damage our internal companies. And this will have a big impact on small and medium enterprise. You will have two products with two different costs. People can't arrive to the end of the month, and they have to choose the one is less expensive, just for sure. The other thing is that America, USA, doesn't want labeling at all. We also decide here in Europe, I didn't for sure, that it is not mandatory anymore to indicate the original place of production of the goods.
And circumstances.
Right now. So the trend is not for more information on labeling of products, but less information on labeling products. And this is it is not good for the citizen, it is good for company, I know.